Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us this afternoon to speak about Picote training, on-site support and consulting. So I think a lot of people know that Picote has a very good technical training programme and also fantastic technical support. But I'm not sure that everyone realises we also offer on-site support for actual project work or in the field work, and also consultant if you do have larger projects. So what we're going to do is take you through a few case studies today with Miko and Dan. And they're going to tell you about some of the projects or support services they've worked on very recently. So the type of thing we're talking about, well, you know we already do a fantastic programme for miller training, how to use your millers, how to maintain them, and things like that. And Picote brush coating, of course, is a really big one as well. And all our CIPP lining tools and how everything works really well together. So we've got a fantastic range of training programs. But like I said before, all of these can also transfer then to real job sites. So we can come out, we can work with you on site, whether it's because you've got a new product or perhaps you're trying coating for the first time or the connection collar system for the first time, whatever that might be. Picote can go to site, we can help you with that. Or like I said earlier, if it's part of a bigger project, you need perhaps help with some planning or something like that, then Picote can do that too. So we do have an international team of experts. All of our technical team are highly qualified. They've been in the field for many years and they've worked not just, of course, with Picote products, but with a range of methods and products over the years. So they really know how they can support you in your project. So I'd like to hand you over to Miko, who is our technical consulting manager. Miko is based in Finland, who's joining us online today to take us through the type of works that Picote do when they're providing a consulting service for you. So Miko, take it away. Thank you.
Hey everybody. I am Mikko. Does it work? Yeah, we'd like to talk about some case studies. I'm not sure if I can see the next slide. Well, let's see if so what the consulting is about. We have a saying in Finland that well planned is half made. So the better you plan your projects, the easier it's going to be, and you're going to have more time to react on different kinds of challenges you might get in your job sites. So what we offer in consulting is pre-planning and site visits, so we can go over, see the whole site, take a look around, what you are up against, what you need, do those pre-planning data collection and management throughout that. Also the pre-work scheduling, so we can be it bigger or smaller project, downsize the whole project into workable sections, and after that we can do the scheduling for those, so it's going to be more manageable, as well as normal quality control throughout the whole project, from start to finish, and even post-project quality control. Project handover to the customer himself after the project, what it could entail, what is good to give to the customer, the knowledge that everything needed is transferred, and of course the post-project management itself that might have after 2-year warranty inspections or whatever kind of needs there might be. And the first project as a case study, there was a project in Leipzig, Germany. We of course for the customer, did the initial site visit, collected the data, had a look around of the work areas, the storage areas, and the scope of the work. How much do we have to do? Where do we have to go? Where do we need access? What diameters of the pipes, what lengths of the pipes we are going to be working on. So it was ranging from 4 to 6 stores. The diameter ranged from 50 millimeters to 150 millimeters, so 2 to 6 inch. There was multiple bends, different kinds of access points, be it apartment, attic, basement, uh, restaurants, lots of variables in the situation. And after the initial site visit, we allocated resources. We looked with the contractor what kind of tooling, machinery they have, what would we think that we would need. Then we, of course, made the necessary arrangement for the contractor to get the right equipment to the job site. The job site itself, there was, as I said, from 50 millimeters to 150. There was CIPP installations, Picote brush coating itself, and then there was failed liner removal from a previous visit. So there was a wide range of stuff to do over there. We allocated 4 Picote technicians for there. So we did on-site support for 2 weeks for them. Again, for the CIPP installation, brush coating, and the failed liner removal. Throughout the project, we had roughly 4 to 6 contractors, guys there as well. So there, at one point, there was 10 people working on the project itself. We managed to get everything done in the 2 weeks that we allocated, and yeah, the client was very happy. The next one would be a consulting job in Santiago, in Chile. Again, the initial contact from the customer was to help them with planning and pre-planning and project management. So we went over there, did have a look around on the actual project itself. Also, the work sections, there was 3 different buildings. All of them had about 100 apartments, so that it was a quite large project. They were actually working on each building at the same time as well. So it was for the project manager, it was very time consuming, as there was 4 crews of 4 people working. So there was a lot going on and a lot happening at the same time in different places. So the first thing we tried to see is the work sections and the work order for the guys and the crews, so it would be much more manageable for the project manager. Also, the inventory of the equipment, what they were doing and what they actually need in order to do the job more efficiently, and usual the maintenance of the equipment on the job site. So from consulting to site support, we managed to identify different kinds of bottlenecks in throughout the work site with the guys, their technical capabilities and knowledge. So, as I said, from consulting to on-site support, started to train in the use of the equipment more efficiently, and different work phases and methods, and then also helping them to identify the scope of the work, what they're actually doing themselves. And yeah, the range from what we were doing from 3" to 6", so 70 millimeters to 150 millimeters throughout the whole project. There was a few sections that were a bit bigger, but fortunately, while I was over there, we didn't have to tackle those, so we just gave a couple of pointers for them what to do when they are doing it at that moment. So continuing doing the on-site support and consulting. Once we got the crew working as intended and more efficiently, we started to do more project management and manpower management. So again, we identified different kinds of places at the work site, what might need more manpower, what could do without less manpower, and started to shuffle around a little bit for the crew. Also started to organize the work phases more better. So even, for example, the preparations were made beforehand anything starts, so by one of the crew. So when the actual work starts to happen, everything would be already ready. So everything would run and go smoothly. Main things were the correct use of Picote equipment, cleaning and descaling. We managed to make that quite more faster for the crew. Picote connection collar use, and the failed liner removal. Again, there was a couple of places in order to remove the liners, and how to teach that with the on-site support. But yeah, there's a couple of cases over there, and I think I'm gonna pass you guys over to Dan now. He's gonna be talking about the next one.
Okay, hi everyone. So this was a job in Ealing in London, where we were approached by a tier 1 water company contractor regarding the removal of 25 meters of concrete between two manholes on a very tight access job. As you can see in the photographs, there's some shots of some shop fronts with an alleyway going in between them, and the manholes were located down there. At the back of that alleyway was a new construction site, and so access was tight. They couldn't bring the kind of machinery that they would normally bring in, and so they approached us about using our equipment. And so we went to site with their own teams, with a couple of machines. We took a Power Plus and we took a Maxi Miller, and we managed to remove all 25 meters of the concrete buildup with their team. So this was a case of on-site support and on-site training that they were very happy with. So happy with, in fact, that they then purchased a couple of vehicles and kitted those vehicles out with the Picote equipment that they'd used, and all the tooling, so that they can then go round that water company's area, removing concrete from drains. So that worked really well. It was a very successful job. The customer was very happy with that. Okay, so next one. This was a job for another tier 1 water company contractor, but this was doing connection collars. They were looking for a solution because they had lined the main lines for the water company, and then there were the connections from the properties to the water company's asset that they wanted to make sure that they were watertight, and then any water ingress that was coming in was then going to be dealt with by the homeowners. So they'd seen our system. We demonstrated it to them. This was us taking the equipment and whatnot onto site so that we could do an installation for them. Off the back of this particular installation that we're very happy with, on that job, that entire project, there were 56 more connection collars were installed after this one. So yeah, a bit of hand holding on site and a bit of on-site training, and then we went back again. They then purchased the equipment. We then went back again for some more on-site support whilst they started the first few of these connection collars. So again, sort of stuff that we were doing with them. So, okay, next one. Nico.
Yeah, so this was a consulting job, and that was in Los Angeles, USA. So customer wanted a communication and quality control plan. So they had different contractors doing different kind of jobs, and for them actually seeing the quality, getting all the information and all the knowledge from the contractors was for the customer a bit harder. So we helped them out with that. So we did pre-planning, planning, surveying different places for the customer, and then after that we gave them communication and quality control programs in order to help them out throughout the project or different projects. They get multiple different projects throughout the year. So most of them are lining or coding jobs. So yeah, now the customer gets information they need from the jobs. This was a consulting job to Mexico. They had a lining job, and they were trying to get more efficient. Again, most of the work on this was actually descaling and cleaning, and how to manage to get that more efficient and more faster. They were struggling to do the descaling in more than 3 days. So we managed to get through this. It was mostly virtual training and online support for them. So we managed to get that to reduce the time of the descale and cleaning quite a bit, and the customer is really happy, and yeah, really happy with the Picote machinery as well. So that was a good one.
Okay, this job was on-site support on the Isle of Wight. This was a company that approached us who had done slip lining previously. So all they really wanted from us was some training in our unit, in our training centre in Sandhurst, which is the bottom left photograph you can see there. That was them coming in to see how they could joint pipe. They then took our equipment over to the Isle of Wight to install 170 meters of 140 Picote flexi slip lining pipe. It was quite an interesting job, this one, because as you can see, that pipe's being installed on a beach. So the water level or the water table there was obviously driven by the tide. So they couldn't line it because of the amount of water ingress in this particular pipe. It was you would have really struggled to have lined it. So they opted for this system, and that's in the photograph on the bottom third along. That's us installing it as a continuous pipe inside an existing manhole. So and they pulled both. There was two lengths of pipe. One was 80 meters and one was 90 meters, and they pulled both of them in a morning, which was pretty good. They made up the pipe the night before, and then we installed the pipe the following day. Good install, that one. Yeah, it's a very successful job. They've subsequently come back to us and taken more of the product and used it on another job. This slide is a job that I did in Maidstone for a smaller contractor who asked us to come out and cut back some intruding connections. There were 150 mil plastic protruding connections into a 450 concrete surface water drainage system, and we were asked if we had anything that we could do it with. I said, yep, probably. Probably got something that I can bring along, and I took our pipe cleaning, a pipe cutting tool along, and a maxi miller, and we removed. I think there were 8 of these on site, 7 or 8 of these on site in total, We did it over 2 visits. Customers were very, very happy with the service that they got, and obviously, whilst I was there, I'm training their guys as well how to do the same thing. So these guys have got the equipment; they just weren't too sure what they needed to do. So I went along with a specific tool to do it. They're now competent and happy to take that kind of task on going forward. Okay.
All right, this is again a consulting job in Arizona, USA. This was also mostly done virtually. They had a quite a large project. They were already accustomed to Picote equipment, but they were not accustomed to the small diameter rehabilitation. So this was a 2-parter. So there was a pre-planning and planning work section, order of work, what to do in what order, how much you can do in a day, in a week, in a month, in what order would preferably be done, what kind of crew you need, etc. That kind of online support consulting, and then there was another part of training. So we had luckily our training center manager Kimmo from Finland. He was visiting US Phoenix at the same time, so they trained them to do CIPP on small diameters from 2 to 4 inch, and as well as doing the coding. So yeah, that was a very, very successful one as well, and I think the project is almost finished at the moment. I mean, they're like 3/4 of finished on that job site. Yeah, this is one of the stuff as well. We do also testing in our Finland training center. So, for example, in the picture on the right side, we are doing some coding testing on our with our express pump and we are servicing or looking at the final results of those. In the middle, you can see pictures of us doing lining testing for a Singaporean customer on S-traps, just to is a proof of concept type of situation, just to make sure that is it possible to line them. My personal opinion, if they are accessible, I would remove the S-traps and then line the straight sections and then reattach them. But as again, we managed to do the lining on that. Yeah, the far left picture is from our training center in Finland whilst training is at work. Yeah, that was for the testing.
Okay, so this was a brush coat job, brush coat training and site support that I did in Larnaca in Cyprus. Went out there with obviously the big stuff, with the big bits of equipment was shipped out. They were the customers. I took some other bits and pieces with me, and this is me training these guys on how to brush coat inside a building. Most of these buildings that they were working on, the pipework, strangely for me anyway, runs to a central column inside the building and then would run down. And given that the age of some of these buildings now and the plastics that were used, they're finding an awful lot of joints are leaking. So yeah, we were out there teaching them how to brush coat on site, which was pretty good. It was a nice, enjoyable trip, that one. I seem to remember it was quite warm, which is always good. And talking of brush coating, we have the new Picote Express coating system, which is a fantastic bit of kit because of the way that the resins are held in the pump unit itself, and it also has a continuous delivery hose system. So you're always pumping raw resin right up to the point just before the brush is where you then mix it. So the wastage is very, very low with this, and it comes with 40 meters of hoses. So in many cases, it's far more adaptable because you don't have to drag loads of very heavy machinery right up onto the roof of a building or right down into the basement of a building. Although this pump's a lot easier to move around because it's got stair climbing wheel system on it. But what you can also, because you've got these very long cables, you can leave the machine in a certain position and then drag the cables out to where where your access point is, and then do your coating. So the other huge advantage with this kind of resin and this system is that there's a 1 hour cure, or up to 75% faster curing. So depending upon the ambient temperature and what the temperature of the resin is when you actually mix it, it's extraordinarily quicker than the existing system that we've got. The resin goes on an awful lot thicker as well, so you don't need as many coats. So in theory, you would need where with the old system you might need 3 or 4 coats. With this one, you're only going to need 2 coats. And if that cures within an hour and a half, for example, between coats, then you can easily coat in and out. You're in and out in a day. It's much, much easier, much quicker than the previous system because of these primed hose reels. So it's far more affordable, save 30-40% on resin costs because you're not using anywhere near as much, and it's obviously cheaper to buy in the first place. And obviously less labour time because you're not on site quite so much. So obviously that assumes that 2 technicians are there doing this. Okay, so yeah, fantastic bit of kit. Can't wait to get out on site and do a bit with it. Be really good, but we've only just started shipping them, so I'm sure it will come soon.
All right, we are going to be turning from the coating to lining. We got a couple of very nice, neat products for that. Firstly, we had the midi steamer. It's made to be used very simple, so it's going to be easy to use. It's most part is fully automated, so you can set the side temperature with thermostat, and when you put it, you have a timer in it. So whenever you're doing an installation and you need steam, it's going to be very easy to use. Let's say you want to have 80 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes, so you set up the 80 degrees. This thermostat will keep the average temperature on the set level, and it's going to be running for the 40 minutes. After that, it will cut off the steam. It will still let the air go through. So yeah, once you set that up, basically you can go and get a cup of coffee or do another installation. You can run, let's say, for example, you're doing connection collars. You can do multiple connection collars with one filled up tank. There's also a pressure regulator in there, so you can actually use that as well. So you don't actually need another regulator while doing the installation itself. It's quite light, easy to move around, and yeah, very, very handy piece of equipment. The next one is the pressure guard, and that's going to make your life even more easier. Everybody who has been on this industry knows that there are going to be failed liners at some point. So fail of pressure or otherwise. So the pressure guard is made to notify you whenever there is some situation that you need to address on the work site. So it actually monitors the pressure, the temperature, and power if you want on the job site. So once you hook the pressure guard up and you have set it up to your, for example, mobile phone or computer, it works with the LTE-M technology. So once it is hooked up, if there's any problems, sudden changes, loss of pressure, loss of temperature, loss of power on the equipment, it will send you text messages or via Telegram. And if you are not notifying the alerts, it will actually call you as well. So it will make sure that you know that there's something wrong at the work site. It's also battery powered, so you don't need to keep it hooked up on electricity all the time.
Miko, and thank you, Dan. Does anybody have any questions about the technical support that can be offered on site, or the consultant services that we offer, or even about the new products? And the reason why we mentioned those new products again is because when these come out, it's also possible to hire Picote to go out on site with you. You can be trained on site, or you could have that additional support on site that you need. Does anybody have any questions for Miko or Dan? Have to. Sorry, I have to come out of that and go into this. Okay. Let me just see what everyone's saying here. So, Matthew, we'd like to see some examples of the final product as well as the machines. What about wide connections? Does it spill on laterals using the spray coating? And is there any official training and certification by Picote, or only site training? Well, that one I can at least answer for you, Matthew. Yes, we do official certified training, which can then mean that you can offer a warranty on the resin as well. So it's definitely worthwhile doing the certified training. It's a generally 2-day course. If you've done Picote brush coating before, then it can be a 1-day course, because we've already covered all the prep and you already have all of that information. So just being trained in the actual pump itself would then take 1 day. Otherwise, it's a 2-day training course, or again, it can be done on site as well. So that's no problem. But I'll leave it up to Miko or Dan to answer the other questions there.
I can take the first one. So you would like to see examples of the final product, and as well as the machines. Of course, that is also possible. So we are going to be showing our contact information. If we could know what machines and what products would you like to see photos and or videos of, we will be more than happy to send you.
Okay, so the middle question was about what happens when you get to a Y or a T, was it not? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Just remind me, Don. Yeah. Okay, fine. So if you're coming past the connection junction with the express brush coat system, the worst that it's going to do is flick some resin up that junction. What it's not going to do is cover that junction. So it saves you a lot of times. If you were doing a main stack, if you were to line that stack, you would have to reopen every single connection all the way up that stack very quickly in order to return it to service. With brush coating, you would prep the pipe and then you would coat the pipe, and the worst you're going to do is just flick some resin inside that. It doesn't cover it, it doesn't block it. In my experience, it just flicks it inside, coats the end of the connection. That's it. That's what it does.
Thanks, Dan. So, Matthew, hope that satisfied you. If there's any other questions you'd like to ask the team, yeah, no problem. If there's any other questions that yourself or anyone else would like to ask the team, then just pop it in the chat. Otherwise, we do also have some contact details as promised there. So hopefully you can still see my screen there. Oh, had a little bit of a moment there, haven't we? Let's go all the way through. Beg your pardon, it didn't like that very much. Oh, there. we'll get there eventually. So yeah, there's the contact details on screen. I'm sure that Steph, if she hasn't already, will be popping that into the chat for you. Yeah, very good, Dan. That's a very good likeness. So, so yeah, like I say, Miko is based in Finland and Dan is based in the UK training centre. But our whole team are very international. If you require them for a project anywhere in the world, then that is not a problem. And they're always available to discuss the project with you in advance to see whether or not it's feasible or how to go about it. So there are a lot of support available. Please reach out. They love a challenge. That's absolutely for certain. We have several other technical experts as well around the world in the US, of course, our team over there, and of course, more people in Finland and the UK too. So we've got a really great technical team, very knowledgeable, and more importantly, always very, very willing to help out wherever possible. In terms of pricing, that depends on the project, of course, and what it entails. But that's something that we can discuss once we've got an idea of what the project actually involves as well and what input is needed from Picote. So if you've got any questions at all about anything that you've seen today or you think of something when you go away, these are the contact details, which can also be found at picotegroup.com on our website on the contact section, and also picoteinstitute.com, where you can also find out a lot of information regarding all of the new products that we spoke about as well. So just a little teaser, we have another webinar for you, which is going to be about our battery-powered millers. So what is the difference between these battery-powered mini cleaners and mini millers versus your regular mini miller and mini cleaner? Well, we're really looking forward to sharing that with you and to showing you them in action from our UK training centre, and that will be next week, the 18th of January at 3 o'clock London time. And so please feel free to register for that one too. I'm sure, again, Steph will be, if she hasn't already, I'm sure she'll be popping that link in the chat for you too. So we'd be delighted if you could join us for that. Do we have any more questions, Steph? Any approved service agents in South Africa? That's a very good question. Might have to get back to you on that one, but if we could take your details, maybe if we pop our contact details in there, we can give you that information. I don't have that off the top of my head, I'm sorry. Apologies for that, but we do have people who do training in South Africa, so we can send you the details for our reseller there. Okay, is there anything else? Apologise, I can't see my screen, so that's why I keep asking Steph. Okay, but if that's everything, I want to thank everybody once again for their time, especially on a Friday afternoon. And thanks to Miko from Finland for joining us. And thank you very much to Dan as well for your presentations. Much appreciated. If you want to speak to the men themselves, like I say, not a problem. The contact details that are there on your screen, take a snapshot or a picture of your phone or go to the picotegroup.com and you'll be able to get those and email or call anytime. Okay, well, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing everybody to our next webinar next week on the battery-powered millers. But until then, thank you very much and have a good weekend. Take care. Bye.